Hey everybody, welcome back to the Social Distance Podcast. We're actually we've timed this recording well. We've timed this recording after all the races that have happened instead of before them. So instead of hypothesizing, we actually speak about Roubaix. I talk about Tour of Turkey, quite a few different experiences there, which leads into stray dogs, slippery roads.
You almost bidding it. You blaming the organisers for form fuckers when it was you the whole time. And George's video investigation gets to the bottom of what actually happened.
I never got my chance to clear that up in the show, so I will clear it up now. I never accused anyone of form fuckers. I never made a statement or a comment.
What are you talking about? You did on Twitter form fuckers with the video. You're accusing the race organisers of form fuckers.
No, I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I'm just stating an object that was in my way. And that had the
I don't know. It sounded pretty accusatory to me, but
it did. But at least
watch the video.
George is on it.
Video evidence.
You got to watch it.
Video evidence
will protect me in court. Video evidence will protect me in court.
Do you want to backtrack even more, mate? You end up at the other side, getting further away. Keep backing up.
So yeah, we talk about form fuckers at Tour of Turkey. George is sick, but he'll be good because he's. As we posted on social media, he's a impulsive tugger, but a tough bugger, or whatever it was on that sign. Anyway, like, share, subscribe.
Let's just run the intro and wing it like we always do and see what comes out of it.
Let's get ready to rumble! Front kick.
Just getting bored and dance move chat.
My radar's going pretty hard at the moment. I think we should.
Will you shut up, man?
That escalated quickly.
We're going to need to get some more qualified guests on this show, eh?
Back again. Jeez, we've done well to get this show together, actually. This is midnight hour. Show's due in about 5 hours. And less, probably. Less
I think it's better
hours.
than doing it like 2 weeks early when we just hypothesize about what's going to happen at bike races, and then most of the people we talk about don't even start the race.
Yeah, right. This time we can actually come in prepared enough because the race has actually happened. I've just got off a plane. Actually, I've just come back from Belgium via Turkey, and I've been away for 3 weeks now. Just did a tour of Turkey. Got up at 3 o'clock this morning. Flew back from Istanbul. It's midday in Europe, and I'm recording the potty.
Mate, great race for you, Bewls, because you got plenty of these photos from social. Where they're going, Sam's done a mountain of work on the front. They love it.
It was good to see the team media team actually posting, so then I didn't have to do it, you know? Like, it's better when the team put it on their socials because they've got like 350,000 followers, so then you actually get more hits. And I don't have to like self-inflate myself to get followers. It's good.
Yeah, but do you get in their ear? Do you say, well, they know. Like, they listen to Social Distance. We wind you up about it all the time. They just jump on board.
They must do.
When Jonsey was your media man, did you ever pull a few favours? Especially when you were single, when you went to the... I guess you were never single when Jonsey was your media man.
Early on I was, I think.
Early on he was, yeah.
Yeah.
I've pulled many a favour for many riders trying to get them a date. The funniest was when we tried to get Magnus Cord a date, and we got donuts. We put it out there on Twitter at the Vuelta, and we literally said, anyone want to go on a date with Magnus? Did a hashtag, you know, he's winning
stages. Did you mention he was Danish? Because that's a massive red flag for most people.
And his obsession with denim.
And hotel rooms.
Yeah, we put it out there. We said, you know, he's pretty dry. You might need a couple of sherbets to warm him up. But, and he got donuts. He literally got no one use the hashtag no nibbles. And I remember the next day, like, we were just honest to him. Because he said to me, he goes, Jonsey, how many hot babes want to go on the date with me? I said, mate, I'll be honest with you, none. He goes, what? I said, none. He got fucking donuts. And he's like, oh, I felt horrible. I felt horrible.
So then when he wrote an angry review,
he won the stage. He won that. That was the start of the final stage. He goes out.
He did.
He won it. Off. Yeah.
He won a couple of stages that year. That was 2016. Yeah. Chavez was third. We won five stages that year, I think.
Yeah, it was awesome. That was awesome.
Yeah. That's a good one. But yeah, I just got back from Turkey. It was an interesting tour of Turkey. It was a good trip. I actually got last time I did the show, I just got back from Ghent-Wevelgem, and my next race was Tour of Turkey. But then the day after we recorded the episode, I actually got the call back up to Belgium for Tour of Flanders. Race Tour of Flanders, race Schelde Price on the Wednesday. I've had a lot go on actually in the last 3 weeks that I've been away. I went up to do Flanders, went well. Got crook got some 24-hour stomach bug, spewed up at the start of Schelde Price, pulled out after like 15k vomiting. And then flew to Turkey the next day. So I was still a bit like, oh, fuck, it's a long way to go if I'm still crook, but I managed to pull up all right. We had a good race down there. We won a stage with Caden.
It was just vomiting. You weren't shitting yourself because people love those stories on this show.
Nah, I avoided that. Just vomiting.
Carry on.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Yeah.
So you dodged some good form fuckers that we talked about.
Yeah.
Oh, mate. Speaking of that, like you posted the video, and I thought to myself, like, whenever you see videos like that, it always goes better with the right soundtrack to really get the emotion. And I think I've nailed it. Hey. What? Hang on. What were you thinking, Bewls, when you were coming around the corner? You're thinking early on. You're on the front.
Most people listen to this as an audio medium, so we should explain what's going on.
Okay, George, commentary, please.
I think that Bewls is fucked up here, and he was meant to go right. So they've obviously come along on a highway, and at some point the road is just broken into a huge amount of roadworks, and they've just run.
You're dead right. Bewls has screwed the whole bunch.
Because if you look, if he had gone the other side, there's like a perfect 5-lane highway, but Bewls has taken them through Baghdad with fucking, and there's just no entry signs, poles, like craters, sandbags. Like, look, this right there, that's a sandbag. And then
that's multiple. That's multiple sandbags.
That is Bewls' fault.
There's a concrete barrier, so you can't hop over. See all those boys at the back? They went the right way, and you've just led 3/4 of the peloton straight through, like absolute Russian roulette.
Well, so they should have gone to the right of the screen, left of the screen.
Yeah,
Billy's
where
right.
that guy with the arrow was saying, go right.
Yeah.
See that guy? He's telling them,
said,
don't come in here.
Don't come in here. And Billy hasn't listened. And just charged through and had the audacity to call the race out as form fuckers and create this media storm talking about rider safety. And it was Bewley that
I did nothing of the sort.
Did not pay attention.
I didn't mention anything about rider safety.
The depths of form fucker hell, to the point where there could have been broken bones. Like if you had hit that sandbag bloody arrow pole there, I mean you're in Barney rubble, man.
Well, that sign that is sitting in the middle of the lane. What would you say? It's like 1.5 meters by 1.5 meters and probably 2 meters high, surrounded by 8 or 9 sandbags. Like you don't want to hit that. You do not want to hit that.
At speed.
But
at speed.
I actually didn't even notice that sign until I watched the video. I was like, oh fuck, there's a big sign there.
Yeah, well, you didn't even notice the corner until you've watched the video, mate.
Okay, well, in my defense,
that is classic.
Okay.
My ribs
Can
are
I
hurting.
defend my case? Can I defend my case, please?
Yeah.
So I
didn't like anybody who was on my wheel, and I wanted them all to fuck off.
I wanted to be the Stephen Bradbury of Tour of Turkey. Everyone crashes, and I'm the only one standing.
That could have happened in the last day, usually. But no, I was those form fuckers that were there regardless of whether I went the correct way or the incorrect way. They came before the split in the road. The sign's a different story, sure. But the form fuckers were there, and I was led by the motorbikes that way. The motorbikes, I was following the motorbikes. I was as close to the motorbikes as possible. But I was following the motorbikes, and they went the wrong way. So I followed them. And then pretty quickly I realized that when I saw that sign in front of us that we were on the wrong side of the road. But then the problem was there was a massive culvert or whatever you call it in the middle of the road, and it was like 45-degree angle, like either side. So you couldn't ride, and it was full of water at the bottom, so you couldn't ride through it. And then, so then we had to either make a decision, and I took the decision early on. I was like, better just to get over this thing, and then, like one option is to continue on the wrong side of the road and hope that at a certain point the road opens up and you can join again. But I was like, well, I'm not taking that gamble. I'm chasing the breakaway back. There's only 15k to go. I'm going to get over this culvert as quick as I can and rejoin the right side of the road and get back to work. So I got off my bike. I got off and climbed over the culvert. Meanwhile, everybody else was like, oh, we'll just take the risk that the road opens up again. What happened? Fucking road opened up. I never got back on. That was it. I spent the next 15k in the cars.
It does look, in your defense, it does look like it's turning into some kind of Indiana Jones situation where, there's a bridge that's broken and there's these guys are all going to launch off like lemmings. And just...
Well, the point of concern for me was that about 300 meters in front of us was a tunnel. So I was like, if we're going through the tunnel, then everyone on the left-hand side of the road went around the tunnel, and the road on the right-hand side went through the tunnel. I was like, well, you don't want to miss either of those options, whatever way you're going.
It's like a game show. Do you want what's in the box, or do you want 20 grand?
Yeah.
Take the box.
I went for the box, and it came out with fucking nothing. Nothing.
Oh, well.
But that stage, while we're on that stage, actually, I'll touch on it. It was a pretty cool stage because it actually finished at Anzac Cove. So we didn't quite finish at Anzac Cove. It finished above Anzac Cove on the Turkish front line, or what was the Turkish front line. So when we finished up this 2K climb, I was dropped. So I was able to take it in a bit, which was cool. And it was like you could see all the trenches, like they've been maintained or preserved or whatever, all the way up this climb, which was the Turkish front line. About 500 meters to go, we went past the Lone Pine Cemetery, where there's about 45, I think, New Zealand and Australian soldiers buried. And then then Caleb won the stage, which was quite fitting. It would have been good if Caleb won the stage. He's also Australian, but Caleb won the stage, which was cool, and Anzac winning the stage. And then we went down after the stage, our team went down to Anzac Cove and took some photos and had a look around. They were setting up actually for the Anzac Day commemorations. Shouldn't say celebrations, commemorations next weekend. So it was actually a pretty special stage for Kiwis and Aussies and Poms, Frenchies, I suppose.
I went to Gallipoli there 2012 because I went to tour of Turkey and then timed it so I could go to the Anzac Day service.
You can't get in awesome. Though, eh?
Well, I went through the Fanatics, where you get a spot, and then the whole night before they play videos and that, and then they do the ceremony the next day. But it was awesome.
So you pull an all-nighter to the dawn service.
Yep, you can. I mean, everyone has sleeping bags, and you just nod off, and I think they crack the shits because there's a lot of guys. You go up there to the top of the cove. And then they have it all set up with videos and that. I think they cracked it the year I was there because it was becoming more commercialized. So you get your tour groups and all that. And then there was guys like kicking footies around. And people go, guys, what are you doing? Like, this isn't like a holiday. No. But it is a bit of a fine line, I think, because like if people are sitting around and they're just kicking a footy or whatever, like, well, that's a good question. Do you think that's disrespectful, Sam?
Well, I don't know. Like, you're right. When we went down to Anzac Cove after the stage, and like any of those sites, it's always pretty like somber. Eh? Like you can't help but get immersed in the fact that what these people did 105 years ago, or whatever, 106 years ago. But there is a sign there that says like no games, like no picnics, like those sorts of things. I don't know if it's disrespectful to kick a footy around. I don't think it would be. I don't think the intent of anybody would be to be disrespectful by doing that.
No.
But anyway, it was cool. It was cool to have the opportunity to do that. I must say, especially so close to the day, especially so close to Anzac Day, and there was a lot of people there. There was, it was commercialized, I guess, to the point where you can go there. You can go there for free, obviously, like we did. But there people obviously pay for tours, which I don't know. Like there's so much around that area. Like there's like Anzac Cove is one thing, but that whole hillside is there's lots of memorials and cemeteries and trenches and lots of things to see. So like a tour guide would be quite informative and give people the opportunity to see all those things in an order, I suppose.
Didn't Justin Langer take the as part of the reform? He took when the cricket team were coming back, he said he took all the boys to Gallipoli.
Mm.
That was part of on the start of the Ashes tour. They all went straight to Gallipoli, and they said, "This is what you're fighting for, the Ashes." And I thought that was.
Well, it's funny. Talk.
You
this
fight.
is a cycling podcast, but
pretty hard to compare.
But we often talk about cricket on this potty, and it's funny when you have a guy like Justin Langer who starts out. They want someone really intense. And this is in most sports. When you're going through a rebuild or a club's in tatters, you need a really intense cat. But then they've always got a cap of about 2 or 3 years before the players start going, this guy's too fucking full on here. Like he's actually giving us the shits now. And then they morph back into like the bloke or like hey, he's like one of the boys. Like it always morphs that way with every club. Never ends.
I've got a hole in your theory, though. I mean, what Lefebvre? What do you call him? He's pretty hard ass. He's been around for 20 years.
He just never goes away, and it does. He goes through cycles where as soon as the team don't win 3 monuments a year, it's crisis talk. Like they're that stacked. Like most, you can have teams that don't win for the whole year, and they go, "Oh, yeah, pretty dry year." We'll be right.
It's like when the All Blacks lose, right? They lose one game and everyone goes, "Oh, time for a new coach."
Crisis.
He's got to roll. I saw yesterday or 2 days ago, there was an article and it was like, it must have been like 3 days ago. And he's like, yeah, look, I've heard the excuses, but now the boys are racing for their contracts.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, that would put the shits on me. And then like the next day, one of their own team cars just absolutely destroys the Pelo and crashes, I think, Alaphilippe out of Brabantse Peel.
No, but that article came out. That article came out after Brabantse Peel because there was a quote in there from him saying, normally Alaphilippe should be in the front at Brabantse Peel, but he's obviously not good enough at the moment.
So he knocked them off.
But he
sent one of the boys to fucking teach him a lesson.
It's pretty threatening, eh? Like that would be You're right. Like because it's Quickstep, the expectation is so high at the classics. Like I think
it is a sign of a good team in a way, in terms of like, it just means that you're so used to success. But like I know that like we are really got like so many guys crook. I'm super crook. I basically haven't trained now for coming up to a month, and still not looking like I'm going to be on the bike training in a big way anytime soon. And there's guys like me everywhere and in every team. And like, didn't you guys start Roubaix with 5?
Yeah, we started Roubaix with 5 guys. Because like it's because of the reason. One of the reasons is that because of this new point system that's come in. So there's actually like a relegation and promotion in professional cycling now, like in English Premier League football, for example. So the bottom 2 teams, but the lowest point scorers of I think it's of the last 3 years, get relegated to the Pro Conti level, and the top 2 Pro Conti teams get promoted to the World Tour level. So every single team, well, not every single team, because there's obviously some teams that are safe. Your team, for example, Georgia's pretty safe. But there's like sort of about like even the second half of the ladder. So like the bottom 7 or 8 teams are all kind of fighting for that to stay out of the relegation zone. So, and the only way to do that is to get more points out of the team. So all the teams are running like triple programs, like so many races at once, like the Ardennes Classics, the Flemish Classics, Tour of Turkey, Jesus.
Also, and you can't buy riders either. Remember that teams used to buy riders with heaps of points if you're struggling and bring them in. It doesn't work like that. It's the points that you had stay in that team.
Yeah. So you get like people who are getting. So you get like a bad run of illnesses in the peloton, like we've had, and and then you get like your standard couple of broken collarbones in a team every few months, and you mix all that in to the fact that all the teams are running a way bigger race calendar. Like, most teams probably do 40 to 50 different races a year, not race days, like different races. Teams are racing up towards 100 different races this season.
Oh, mate, we're going to every race you've never even heard of. And we don't even need points.
Yeah. And you just run out of riders.
But it's a really strange system because I've weighted it all towards like small one-day races. So I think we talked about this last week actually. But yeah, either way, it's taken its toll, man. It's But what's crazy is the sicknesses that are ripping the back out of everybody. Is done like I was lying here, right, and I was super sick. Got over it. Got super sick again. Like a few days later, thought the fever had gone. Came back a third time. The third time it came back, like I was like, okay, fuck, something's wrong here in a big way. So like, ended up going to see people and like trying to work it out and stuff. And they're like, you literally just have influenza A. And I was like, nah, I'm dying. And like, nah, mate, you just got the flu. I was like, this is not the flu. This is like you feel better, and then like 2 days later, you just get repeated fevers, like boom, boom, boom. And then like before you know it, you're out for a month, probably out for like 3 months before you can actually train again. And it's super contagious. So like you have 10 guys with that in your team. What do? Run 16 men for the spring.
Yeah. It's one of those once in a 10-year flus though, eh? Like it's contagious
so.
it's contagious when you get that, but like not everyone gets hit by it the same way. It's
yeah.
One,
it was so
only
weird. I
once
was like, this must be COVID. Like if this is what, like this must be. I've always wondered, like, I wonder how sick I'd get by a virus that would kill kill so many people, 6 million around the world or something. I was like, this must be it. Like, repeated tests. I did enough rat tests to kill like a small colony of tortoises, but like, I just couldn't. They're all negative. And then I was just like, yeah, mate, just the flu, and felt like a real pussy and sent me on my way.
People die from the flu all the time. Don't want to freak you out, but yeah.
Oh god, I knew it was
flu's not good.
Did you get to a certain point where you started thinking, oh, well, I'm just going to become a statistic. I'm just going to be one of the stats.
Probably about an hour after I rang you that day, emergent, when I was going, mate, I need, somebody in town.
Yeah. I'll tell you what put the peloton at risk. Could have put the peloton at risk. Thankfully, it didn't because of some level heads. Was the last stage of Tour of Turkey yesterday.
Oh yeah,
what happened? Tell us what I've missed it.
Mate,
what went down?
It's just the roads are so slippery. Like the roads there are really, really are quite slippery. I don't know what they make them. I think how like if you have a normal road, it's traditionally got some grip to it, and then if you hit the white line's slippery. I think they reversed it. Like it was actually like the white lines had more grip than the roads. People were riding the white lines because you had a better chance of staying upright. But
man,
the roads are just really slippery there. But we had great weather all week, so it wasn't really an issue. Still more crashes than normal because of the roads, but harmless. And then the last stage was all around Istanbul. Actually, would have been an awesome stage because that city is fucking massive. If you've ever been to Istanbul, it's 20 million people. It's fucking huge. And we basically did this 130k stage that was just all the different districts of Istanbul. Awesome. It would have been so cool stage to do. Completely close the city off. But city roads are slippery anyway. There's oil and all that shit from cars and rah, rah, rah. But then we were just unlucky with the weather. The organisers were unlucky with the weather, and it rained about 20k into the stage. And the moment the first raindrop hit the road, the peloton just went like I don't want to sound dramatic, but you could not ride a bike on them. You no matter how fast or slow you went, you couldn't ride a bike on them. As soon as the rain hit the road, there was this massive crash, and there were so many guys down that we stopped the race, and then the discussion started with the commissaires and the race organisers because it's like such a tricky situation because the race organisers have done such an amazing job to like get the Istanbul closed off to a bunch of fucking bike riders, and of course they want to finish their tour off well and have this cool stage in the city, but we're just like we can't do it. We can't stay on our bikes, and they knew it. But like hats off to the commissaires and the organisers there. Actually, there was it's very rare that a bike rider or a group of bike riders. It's very rare that a group of bike riders band together with the same opinion, but it's very rare that when they do, it's not met with some resistance, But straight away they're like, "Yeah, fuck, man, we know this. You can't do this." So in the end, we spent about half an hour on the side of the road just talking about how we could do it, how can we still show the public, give them a side of us and everything. So we just neutralized the stage. We were fortuitous enough that like we sort of did these loops, and we would do like a number of laps of like one district, and then go to another district and do a number of laps of another district. So we're able just to we just went to every district and just did one lap. So the stage was shortened by like 60k or something. And it was a short stage anyway, but we didn't neutralize anything. We just cancelled the stage. The stage was just cancelled. Like there was no result. Like there was no stage result.
Imagine the locals that didn't know that it had been neutralized watching you just putt past, going, "These guys are shit." No, I could give them a run for the money.
The fucking funniest bit of it all was that we went through this one district, and Paddy Bevan, obviously fellow Kiwi, he ended up winning the tour. Yeah, he was flying there, man. He was. I haven't seen him go that well since Tour Down Under a few years ago. He was fucking ripping.
That's good, eh? So he had like a shitty start to the year, broken collarbone. His first race back.
Yeah, exactly. His first race back from injury. So I was riding next to him, just chatting away when we were riding neutral, and mate, people were still crashing. Like we were going like 25k an hour, and people were still crashing. It was that fucking slippery. Like you just go around a corner and someone would wipe out.
It's just trying to putt along.
Yeah, we're just trying to get to the finish because we had to get to the finish line.
With the humiliator. Remember when we neutralized the stage in Nice because UCI they wouldn't. So we were like Tony. Remember when Tony Martin went to the front and did the Jesus on the cross, and then we all slowed down. Yeah. And then I was like, "Oh man, that's so lucky this is neutralized." And I was just talking to Christian Jensen like running down this hill and just ended up like high sliding over the bar because I just slipped on some like dishwashing liquid. Yeah. And just broke my ribs, broke foot, everything. Fuck.
The beauty of these roads is that they were so slippery. We had a couple of guys crash in the first crash, the only crash until the race got stopped. But it was so slippery that it was impossible to high side. Like because the wheels, your tires couldn't get enough purchase to high side you. Like they just went from underneath you. So like the crashes. I mean, one guy broke his collarbone, but like if you're going to break a bone, it's collarbone. He'll be back tomorrow. Anyway, what I was getting to was we were riding along through this district.
Your brain was going, that was a funny call. That was a funny call. Oh, what was I talking about? Oh shit. Okay. Soldier on. No, you think, Bewls? You've been up since 3 o'clock.
I'm sleepy. Yeah. We were riding through this district at like 20k an hour or whatever it was. And there's quite a lot of stray dogs in Turkey because I think it's illegal to put dogs down. So like if people can't look after, it's like if people can't feed their dogs or like care for them, they just release them into the streets. But you're not you're not allowed to put them down. So there's fucking stray dogs everywhere. And we were like racing through this district, and this dog came, this stray dog, this like big Labrador, and he was fucking having a ball. He was like, yeah, you know how dogs love chasing wheels. Yeah. Well, he had like 350 of these wheels in front of him. So he just started running he came off the footpath, got onto the road, and was just running next to the peloton like,
let's go.
And no shit, without a word of a lie, you can ask Patrick Bevan or anyone else in the race to clarify this. He would have run next to us for 5 kilometers. For 5 kilometers.
Just gave it everything.
He was there for like 15 minutes, but he was just running the same speed as the bunch. So it just showed how slow we were going. So we came through this district that had like streets lined. People were like waiting all year for the Tour of Turkey to come through their district. And there's a dog running the same speed as us. They would have been like, what the fuck
is going on?
What are these?
I shit myself every time I see an animal, especially after we had this incident once in the Tour. It was like early days. And I think it was Rowan Dennis. We were all strung out like full gas, and this dog just came from right-hand side of the road to left, and he just hit it full gas, and the dog died, but the bikes and the cyclists just went everywhere, man, and we were just on the ground like at 60k an hour, 70k an hour.
I crashed in that crash.
Oh, you with it? Was it the Vuelta or was it
at the Vuelta? It was at the Vuelta.
Was it the Vuelta?
The dog ran into the bunch, and Rowan hit it straight on. Boom.
And the dog was
on the road. What sort of dog was it?
Oh, a little dog.
Little dog.
Yeah.
But it did enough damage.
Oh yeah, we were going fucking quick, and then I remember Rowan hit it, and I was behind Rowan. I went straight over the top of Rowan, and
And then
we
I must have
landed.
come over top.
And then Rowan was literally like he hit the dog and went over the handlebars so hard he came out of his shoes. Like
Shit.
he wasn't in his shoes anymore.
Supermaned it out of his
I
shoes.
was sitting next
Did
to
a
him. I was like, "You all right?"
Titan-
And he's like, "Yeah, I'm alright." I was like, "Where's your shoes?" He's like, "Fuck if I know." They were still attached to the bike.
That's like the Looney Tunes kind of, like
Yeah, when they
Roadrunner
blow
gets
up.
hit by a hand and his shoes are still there. And
Did I tell you this story about the Delhi Olympics in 2010 when they had a problem with the stray dogs? I think so that they had a problem, same thing in Delhi in India. They had all these stray dogs, and they said, "Shit, what are we going to do about these dogs? Like we've got the Com Games." And the mayor, and you Google this, I'm not making it up. Her name was Sheila Dickshit, and she
I
goes-
remember this. I remember this.
and she
Yeah, I
go,
remember.
yeah, she was like, "No, I can sort the dog problem out." And they said, "Oh, okay." And then about 4 weeks later, there's no dogs. Like there was no dogs in the center of town, and they said, "What'd you do with those dogs, Sheila?" And she goes, "Oh, we relocated them." She goes, what do you mean by that?" "Oh, no. We took them to like paddocks, and they're running around, and yeah, they're having a great time. No one ever saw the dogs. No one knows where those dogs went."
I reckon they ended up in the athlete village.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there was no dogs at
Isn't
Delhi
that what you
that
tell
year.
a 6-year-old when your dog dies? You tell like
My
the little
parents used
kid,
to
"Oh,
always
it's gone
say-
to a
Yeah,
farm."
yeah.
They always say it's
Gone
going
to
to
the farm.
Christchurch. So every time something would die, they're like, "Oh, it's going to Christchurch." What's in Christchurch?
Yeah. Why
Wow.
fuck's Christchurch so good?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to go to Christchurch.
That's where all the dogs are.
Hey,
Hey,
other random news. Did you guys see the James Franklin hazing thing that came out? James Franklin was a ex-New Zealand cricketer. And he and Andrew Simons have just been done. Oh, it's in the news now at the moment that back in, I think, 2011, there was a new guy entered there who's now quite a good spinner for India. And they, as part of like initiation, whatever, at this party, they got steamed, tied this guy up to a chair, and like put him in the cupboard as a joke. But then they got, they obviously wrote themselves off, forgot about this guy, and left him in there. So he got found like a day later by the cleaner.
Oh no.
And now it's all coming out, and now it's a big story. And I was like, shit, that's a pretty intense initiation. But it also made me start to think of like, I also used to hear wild stories from like back in cycling, but I've sort of avoided all of them. Like my initiations or whatever, like they seem to be far worse within New Zealand, and I don't really know if it's a European thing.
It's definitely a
I
male
don't-
thing. You don't hear it ever from females going, I remember when the girls hazed
Yeah,
Samantha. It's always
Yeah.
dudes.
but I think it's a hazing that doesn't stop in females potentially. Yeah, it's a low grade.
The
it's a
mental
low-grade
abuse
inflammation.
and the
Yeah,
backstabbing.
But do you know, like there used to be, I've heard heaps of stories of hazing, like in professional cycling for, like it used to be a bit of a thing. Like first year pro, you got hazed at your first team camp. But it was always like all these stories I've heard are always alcohol related. But like if I was to haze someone, it wouldn't be like, oh, scull this bottle of fucking vodka and then watch them spew and just like coma in the corner. That's shit house. What a shit fucking hazing. Like I'd much rather do something like fun and like that embarrasses the guy.
Yeah, like lock
but it's
him in a
harmless,
cupboard.
but harmless.
yeah. Put them in the cupboard
Yeah.
and leave them.
Put 'em in
Put
the
him in
together.
the
cupboard.
cupboard. 24 hours in the cupboard, mate. Welcome
Nothing.
to the
it.
team. Good to have you. But like,
Yeah. If you get through that,
like-
you'll be ripping it a mile in 10 years.
But it was like even
I-
on the bike. Like I remember shit like, oh, you're a neo pro, go get bottles, even if you were the better rider. But I think that's changed now because the best riders are the 15-year-olds that arrive at team camp because they've been, living like professionals since they were 4.
Imagine going like when Remco Evenepoel signed the 18-year-old with Quickstep, like, all right, mate, welcome to the team. We're going to haze you. He's like, no, you're not. Get fucked.
Yeah.
But the other,
No, you're
but,
not.
no,
You're
but
gonna
the other,
fucking ride
the
for
other,
me.
No, you're not.
the other stupid thing is, why is this shit coming out 11 years later? You
It
know,
was
if
on
you're
a
that,
podcasts seem to get people in hot water, so this is probably what we can look through here. Maybe divulge a hazing story about our youth, and then there'll be an article about the time
I got hazed.
you got hazed
I got
by
hazed.
Julian Dean.
I got Hazing Radio Shack my first year pro, but it was very
Radio
tame.
Shack.
It was actually quite a good one. Like,
Could
I'm
you
going to
dig-
tell it. It was
Throw Lance under the bus, and then we might get some more views, or like we can leverage this.
Nah,
Get him in
he
shit.
wasn't. Lance wasn't there. Lance wasn't there.
Any other hitters?
It was. Yeah, the team was full of fucking hitters.
Yeah, but
was
can
like-
we leverage this story?
Well, it's not that exciting.
Okay.
It
Carry
was
on.
like Andreas Cloden was there. Horner, Leipheimer.
Bucks and a broomstick.
And they it was a pretty boring hazing, but it was kind of funny. I'll tell it, and you guys be the judge. So
Okay,
it was my first team camp in January, first year pro, and they said, "All right, we've only got one neo pro, new professional in the team, Sam." So like back in those days, also this is another thing that's changed. When you sign pro, you sign for fuck all money. You sign for minimum wage. Take it or leave it. Nowadays, you sign for €1 million or something, so you didn't need the money. But like back then, they'd be like, "All right, you're a neo pro, you got no cash. So what we do is we'll all pull some money, all put this money into this pot." And it was like a lot of money, like $5,000 or something in this pot. And they're like, but all you got to do is take 3 eggs on the head. We'll break 3 eggs on your head, and then you can get the cash. And it's just to kickstart your career, help you pay your rent, help you set up your apartment or whatever. Like I was like, oh yeah, I could see through the ball. I'm not stupid. But I was
the last egg you got to stick up your ass.
Yeah. But anyway, I was like, I'll take my chances, and then basically all they do is like, okay, 1 egg, crack it on your head, 2nd egg, crack it on your head, and then 3rd egg, they throw it on the ground. And they go, you had to have 3 eggs cracked on your head to take the money. But in fairness to them, they actually gave me the money. I actually got the cash.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah.
That's not
That's
really
quite
a
a,
hazing at all. That's just
that's
money
just
for
like
money for jam.
That's more like a welcome, like a little sort of hamper. Welcome to the neighbourhood.
Yeah. I hazed a few guys actually in Greenwich a few years ago.
Now it's turned into confession. You can see he's sort of wanting to open up, and then he's going, "Geez, all these people have gotten shit with podcasts." And
there's a part of me that's like, there's actually a big part of me. It wasn't a bad hazing as well. If it went public, it would be completely fine. Like the team, like the bosses of Scott were there, like the team sponsors.
Well, they're no
but
longer connected with the team, so let rip.
Well, no, there's a part of me that thinks that hazing was, it's for the team. So maybe I won't make it public. Just out of respect for the whole point of hazing.
Oh, yeah. That was pointless.
I think hazing's a... fuck him. We killed some bloke.
Yeah. Welcome to the team.
We made him murder a guy, and then... such a laugh. He was all right, man.
He's good sprinter, mad bastard.
Did you guys watch Roubaix yesterday? I didn't actually see Roubaix because
mate, the highlight of Roubaix was now again this is audio medium, but you've probably already seen it, and that is the lotto mechanic that he was trying to help his. He bins it up.
So that's on the Arenberg.
Arenberg, yeah.
So he's brought a spare bike to a rider who's waiting for a spare bike. So he's jumped on the rider's spare bike to ride it to him faster, but drops himself in the process. Probably fucks the spare bike, and then hands him like a second-hand spare bike that he's just crashing on. Like, oh, good luck, mate.
Looks like he's done a collarbone as well.
I know, and he's hit it at this point. If you like, it's just before he hits the deck, but it's just they're so proud mechanics, like in Belgium tees especially. That would have been a big moment for him, and he would have thought, this is my moment. To hand the bike over in the Arenberg Forest, iconic moment, and he fucking bins it. I reckon that'd be just about hand your keys in.
But I reckon it's better. I reckon it's better that he binned it because it just shows like the desperation and the commitment from the guy.
Yeah,
Also, how hard it is to ride in the Arenberg Forest.
Yeah,
and to think that he could just clip out with 1 foot and just like hand it to him, no worries in the Arenberg, that was never gonna work. Anyway.
And that gave me anxiety watching that. I was watching that going, fuck, in 3 months, I have to do, obviously not the whole Paris-Roubaix, but a watered-down version of it. And it will be different because it's all GC guys and, most of those big bastards aren't there. But still, those cobbles, either way, I hit the first one, land on the last one.
But the difference, the Roubaix and the Tour de France, which I've done a couple of times, is it is quite different to Paris-Roubaix, obviously. But it's because most of the big guys, the Roubaix bike riders that are there, are there like looking after a GC rider. So it's a different motive from them. But it's still nuts. Like I didn't see any of. I saw up to about 70k to go in Roubaix, and then I went into Istanbul, checked out Istanbul. So I actually don't know.
Did you go to the markets? Did you get the Turkish delight?
Mate, I didn't actually have any Turkish delight because I was so fucking full. Like we
kebabs.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I went deep
that
on
coffee
the kebabs.
lights a fire under your ass, eh?
Oh yeah.
Honestly, I like how we're talking about Roubaix, and it just we show a mechanic binning it, and that was the highlight. And then we go back to Philly in Turkey. No, you know who won? Yeah, you know who won.
Van Baal won. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But
good on him. He deserves it because he seems like one of those guys that always does like 6 hours. One of those guys that like everyone says, oh, he's overtrained, always trains too much, all this stuff. But actually, he's obviously just tough as hell. And probably maybe sometimes he is a bit pinned from training too much. But then it finally comes together. I just love seeing that. Like a guy who's like, I'm just going to work harder than anybody else. And then win. And then if
do you reckon,
wins,
Do you reckon Ineos has taken, like, I've formed this idea in my own head, that they've gone, fuck, we can't win the Tour de France, or it's going to be very, very hard to win the Tour de France. And obviously, the traditional Team Sky approach was like, we'll win other races throughout the year, and they won good races throughout the year, but ultimately, we want to, for the commercial value of our team, we want to win the Tour de France every year. And they did that for a long time with a couple of four different riders. And now it's at the point they're like, fuck, it's actually going to be very hard to beat Pogačar or Roglic. So they've spread their focuses, or they've shifted their focus to like, fuck it, let's go and win monuments, because they haven't won many monuments in Ineos over the years. They've won bugger all. They haven't won Roubaix. They haven't won Flanders. Have they? I don't think they've won Flanders.
No,
I don't think they've already won hardly any monuments. They won Liège.
They won Amstel now. Amstel, Liège, and they've won 3 out of 5. So they've done right.
Amstel's not a monument.
They've won Milan-San Remo?
No,
Amstel's not a monument.
No.
Didn't Quirato win
Amstel?
The other one? Milan-San Remo?
He's won San Remo.
The monuments are Milan-San Remo, Flanders, Roubaix, Liège, and Lombardia.
Yeah.
They're the 5.
But anyway, what I was getting at is, do you reckon they've gone, fuck it, let's go and like win other big races?
Yeah,
we can't win a tour. Because they're ripping this year, man. Like in the last 2 weeks, they've won Basque Country, Amstel Gold Race, Brabant Chapelle, Paris-Roubaix, and second in Flanders.
No, they're killing it.
Not a bad spring.
They need to imagine if Lefebvre was running the show there. The flip side.
Oh,
he'd be
Well, before we wrap that was just a random comment. Before we wrap things up, good to see Caitlin didn't get the influenza as bad as you did, George, and delivered with the logo, which means we've upheld our promise for merch. It's definitely in the pipeline now, because all we had to do was deliver on a logo, and she did it.
It's in the development. It shouldn't be far away. I've just got to send a different file through, so we've got the right file. But they're development right now, development phases. So it's going to happen. It is going to actually happen.
So
I like the logo.
It's great. Is the logo going to be on the back? Because all the feedback, and thanks for everyone commenting on social, but that logo's like the big circle on the back, and then on the front corner you have like you've got like a barcode logo you can use, or just says merch.
Well, we don't know
What do you
yet.
mean you
It's just-
can use it? What do you mean you use it?
What are we talking about?
I'll tell you when you use the
I can
barcode.
use the barcode.
You use
No,
the
the
barcode. And
you got a barcode logo, social distance. Have you released that yet?
No, we're not
No.
releasing that. Why don't you just... God, mate.
What's going on? You only released the circular, the stuff
You weren't
down
even
the
there.
track. Oh,
Yeah,
phase
just-
2. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
nah. Stay tuned,
No.
guys. There's some big stuff coming.
Oh,
What time is it?
I don't know. It's time for you to fuck off.
I think we're gonna go back to the hospital. I preferred it back there.
Okay. Good show, boys. Always good support.
Alright.
But I do like the logo. It's a good logo.
Yeah. All right. Look
Yeah.
out for merch. Can't wait.
Look out for merch.
Heal up, George.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Good on you, mate.
Bye.
Like, share, subscribe.